took me 4 years to get him here. So he's built Marc Simoncini. Welcome on stage. Marc has built MEETIC. Help me welcome Marc. Hi, Marc. Have a seat, please. Here. And so Marc has created the #1 dating site in Europe called MEETIC. And it's interesting in many aspects. I think you don't need that, actually.
I don't need it.
Yeah. And MEETIC is present in 22 countries?
Yes, 22.
No?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know exactly.
So anyway, so Marc is a huge European success and really low profile. We never hear about MEETIC generally. So let's start like this, and we will open 2 questions. This is, the last session of the day. I hope you had a good day. Did you have a good day? Yeah? Well, if you're still here, and I'm happy that you're still here, by the way, because Marc, it took me 4 years to get him here. If you weren't staying, he would never show up anymore. So Marc, tell me about MEETIC. So when did you start?
I started the company beginning of 2002. And 2002. And the website was launched in July, so 6 years ago now.
So that was in a crisis. We were still in the depression. I hear, if I remember well, the VCs didn't want to invest.
Of course. I sold my previous company for 200 million euros.
How much?
200 million euros.
200 million euros.
Yes, and then I decided to launch a new website, and I said, okay, I prefer to do that with VC money. And no one accepted to invest on my company because they said it will never work, as usual in France. And then I tried to raise funds, which is not possible. So I decided to invest $500,000.
So you failed in raising funds?
I failed, completely failed. I failed to raise funds. I failed to find the money to rent an office. And the guy said, the banker, the bankers are bankers. And the guy told me, if you need, I thought it was 50,000 euros. And the banker told me, if you want 50,000 euros, you have to put 50,000 euros on the escrow account. And I said, this guy is brilliant. And he's still there, probably. So I found my own offices, and I decided to run MEETIC with $500,000.
$500,000. So you have 5 criteria. So you should really listen to those because you have them. So Marc has a few criteria on why a business is good or not. And buzz is not part of it, which is why we are very good friends, but I'm not too much, being asked for advice. But so what are your different criteria?
So I know Loïc since 6 years, and each 2 months, he asked me the 5 criteria I had to find the business model of MEETIC. So now I take a pen and I write it. So the first one is you don't have to pay for content, which is a case of dating. The second one is you have to have a subscription model, because I hate revenues coming from advertising because it's like this, it's up and down, it's up and down. So subscribers are better. So it's a pure 1.0 business model. So the second criteria is subscription.
We'll come back to that.
The third one is it's self-control. So the community controls the website. So you have a control for free. So free content, free control, subscriptions. The last one, the next one was you have to be able to localize the website easily. If you make a content website, if you make a local website, you spend a lot of time to adapt the business model country per country. Dating is dating, love is love. It works everywhere. The next one is I wanted to have a chance to be leader in Europe. So I didn't want to launch an eBay competitor, even if I had the idea, because I didn't have any chance to be leading website in Europe. Then the last one is to create daily and day after day a barrier to entry. So there is a network effect, as you know, on a dating website. So if you're pretty big, nobody can compete against you because day after day, you're bigger and bigger. So every day, you create a barrier which is more complicated to beat than the day before. And the last one, the last criteria before choosing to launch a website is you have to love to do that. And I loved to help people to find love. So it was the last criteria. And the
passion.
Yeah. So MEETIC matched with 100% of those criteria. And that's why I decided to launch it.
And so you were like with those 6 criteria?
Yeah, something like that.
Or 7, whatever. And you were wondering like matching businesses. So, you know, if you go against those criteria with Web'08 companies, most of them don't pass the test.
The main criteria is if you run a 1.0 business, the difference between the 2.0 is if you run a 1.0, you don't have to explain how for. What for?
It just works.
Do 0, you have to explain. Why should I use this website? If you want to publish, if you want to share, why? What for? With the 1.0 businesses, everybody knows how it works and what for you use it.
So you're doing 130 million euros in revenues?
Yes.
You're a public company?
We are public, so it's complicated for me to disclose a lot of figures, but since 6 years, we charge $500 million to our users.
So, yeah, $500 million, wow, that's...
On a cumulative basis.
So you have to explain me something, because dating is like there are tons of services competing with MEETIC, you know, in the US and in Europe, which are free. And if you had told me, you know, like, we're actually, Paulo Coelho was explaining, oh, you should share, put everything for free. And you know, MEETIC could have been killed by free, right?
Yes.
Why not? Why? How much is it? 30 euros to date someone?
Yeah, it's roughly 30 euros per month.
30 euros per month?
Per user, per customer.
But so
why can I compete against free websites? I will give you a very clear answer. If you can choose to go to dance on the most expensive nightclub in New York, and the free nightclub, which one do you choose? Would you choose? Probably the paying one. So if you pay on the website,
I don't know.
You don't know? I will do.
You will go to the paying one.
Yeah,
why?
because it's the people are more involved, the people are more serious. It's control. You can pay guys for the security, which is not the case on the free website. So at the end, if I pay on a website, it means I'm involved to find somebody. And then the people love that. And the second criteria is the security. Each time you receive a message on MEETIC, we have the credit card number of the guy or the girl. So if there is any problems, we know who is who. It's not anonymous. Even if it is anonymous, nobody knows you are on MEETIC, Loïc, as you know. But
nobody knows me on MEETIC. I'm actually on Hot or Not as well.
Yeah.
Because I want to learn all these, you know, virtual good stuff, and they have these virtual flowers, $10.
$10.
And they and so we had Susan Wu today. I hope you liked the virtual goods, you know, presentation. But basically, they even have the flowers, you know, die after 2 weeks. Yeah. So it's interesting and it's free.
It's free. Yeah.
You don't have any virtual goods.
No, for now, no, because it doesn't work. People are more direct, you know. They don't have to give flowers to start to chat with somebody else. So. The business model of dating is quite special because it's still growing. I told you we charge $500 million since 6 years, and we are making 15% of growth.
So you're profitable.
Well, more than that in profit, but we are still growing 15%.
How much in profit? All right, keep going.
A lot.
A lot, right. No, that's very impressive because you would really think that that a business like this. So how did you get it started? Did you invest a lot in advertising? Because you would argue, I would say, that you launched services free as the first reason being to get the initial community and to get the buzz, right? And so that it grows virally. If you do something paying immediately, it's tough because it doesn't grow, right?
Yeah, so you have to have at least a few users before starting to charge. So we decided to launch the website for free for 2 months. And then we started to charge
2 months?
2 months, it was enough. We had 100,000 users.
Twitter has 2.5 years without, do you know Twitter?
Yeah, of course. I don't know what for, but
you don't know why.
You teach me how to use it, but I know at least the name. So we decided to charge the website very early stage. And what was the question?
No, the other question is how can you make people, you know, like pay early? 2 months is nothing, right? We're like, so many companies are like, you know, afraid of charging.
The problem is, the idea was to achieve to have enough users in Paris in a very short time, and especially female. So the website.
It's free for the females?
It was.
The females, should we say females for the women?
Yeah. In English we say the female. Okay, woman. And so we decided to open the website for free for women. And when you have 50,000 French women to chat with on a website, it works. So immediately we were able to charge the guys, and the system started like that.
So tell me cool stories about couples you've created, or like what's cool? Like in, what is it, 6 years? In 6 years, you must have like a very, very cool story.
The first one is the press made an article on myself, and the title was "The Guy Who Has 60,000 Babies." So I'm supposed to have made 60,000 babies in France. So we have a lot of very funny stories, or very sad. Sometimes it's not good stories, but my famous one, I have two. The first one is we received a phone call of a woman, and she was very hungry, and she told me, it's unbelievable, my husband is on MEETIC. And I say, shit, I'm sorry about that. And she said, we're just divorced yesterday. And I said, but if you divorce, I don't see any problem if your husband is on MEETIC today. And she say, yeah, it's not acceptable. And I said, but how do you know he's on MEETIC? And she told me, I'm on it.
So they found themselves again?
No, it wasn't this one. So it was,
They dated again?
And they dated again, and maybe they are still together. And the second one was I received a very long letter of a guy who thanks me because he fell in love on MEETIC. So he told me, I'm so happy, thank you. Without you, I didn't have any chance. Thanks a lot. And at the end, he told me, I'm sad because I have to leave MEETIC. So I know you will lose the customer. So you lose money, but you understand I have to cancel my subscription. I say, okay, I understand. And he signed the letter, and he made a PS. I'll re-register later if necessary. And that's exactly the business model of MEETIC.
But wait, you lose repeat business, right?
So my US friends of Match.com made a survey, and they told me, on average, a love story, the duration of a love story is 18 months.
18?
18. So now you know, in the US, they have surveyed about everything, even the time of a love story.
18 months.
So it means 18 months later, the guy come back on MEETIC or on Match.com.
How many couples do you think do you have any real numbers on how many couples have been generated?
Roughly, probably in Europe, 500,000.
500,000. How many have you destroyed?
Probably,
like someone cheating on MEETIC?
Probably 500,000 too. No, that's a joke. So we receive letters to thank you because the guy and the girls divorced.
What?
So we have letters.
To thank you because you created a divorce?
Yes, because the girl and the woman say, thank you, my husband was a
crap.
It was and now
thanks to MEETIC,
thanks to MEETIC. Now my husband is nice. So I say, okay, why not? So it's we have more love stories than divorce.
That's very, very interesting. How do you, so you're in 20 plus countries, right? And despite that, you're French.
Yeah.
And how do you see the launch in different countries? You have 30 countries here in the room. How was that difficult? Like to go to, did you have, what was the top, like the easiest country?
All countries was complicated because I'm half Italian. I thought launching MEETIC in Italy was simple. It was very complicated.
Why?
Because there is 2 centuries of difference between a French and an Italian when we talk about love.
No, you have to explain that. Do we have any Italians left in the room? Yes. So okay. you have to explain.
So I'm sure no Italian girls know a friend of her saying I'm on MEETIC. Because if you're an Italian girl and if you want to date, you have to ask your brother.
Really?
That's an image, but it's close. So,
do you confirm? Yes?
Yes, she confirms.
Yes, yeah, they confirm.
So we have made a very funny advertising in France where the girls made the kisses to guys were too shiny, so the girls make the first step, take the guy and kiss the guy. It was very funny in France, everybody loved that. And we launched it in Italy. It was a disaster. Because we say, what are those girls? They are not Italian. They say, yes, it doesn't work. So Spain was complicated too. And everybody told me...
You would say these are Latin countries that we would understand, but no?
No, every country are different.
So tell me about dating in different countries. That's very interesting.
In the UK, everybody told me you don't have any chance in the UK.
Yep.
So I say, okay, as usual, I don't have any chance, but I try. So we bought the leading website in the UK. And the difference is we are more women than men in the UK. That's the only country in the world where you have more women than men on a website. I don't know why. Yes, I know, because of the English guys, but... And the last one was...
Do we have any Brits in the room?
No, that's a joke, that's a joke.
Okay.
And the last one, the most complicated one, was Germany. Every friend of mine in France told me, you will never succeed in Germany, as usual. So we bought...
So when anyone tells you you'll never succeed, you just go and straight...
As usual.
Okay.
And we bought a website in Germany, and it works very well. Honestly, the German guys are completely different.
How do they date, the Germans? Germans, raise your hand.
How the German dates, if I had to choose a word, is seriously. So the German dates seriously.
What do you mean? They go through like as many possibilities as possible?
As the Germans are serious. Nobody knows German guys? They are very serious, you know, methodic, serious, organized, polite. It doesn't work in Germany, so they have to date with the French way. That's a complicated way for them.
Is there any country where it didn't work very well?
In Sweden?
Sweden?
Yeah, we failed in Sweden because we made a huge mistake to provide the website for free for women. And the women were very angry about that, and they told me, why is free for women? I say, because you're a woman. I say, so what? And I say, sure. So that's, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I changed, I promise. So now the Swedish woman paid on MEETIC. They asked too.
So get ready for a few questions. But
so that's why it's so complicated to cover the entire Europe, because everybody is different, every market is different, and everybody will say you don't have any chance. So that's complicated in Europe.
So with 130 million euros in revenues and profitable company, you could have sold these like 10 times, right, to Americans. And one of the sad thing about Europe is like most internet successes are sold to your American companies. And if not, they resist, like to David's side, apologies for the Germans, I don't know how to pronounce this, against Facebook, right? They resist, but they end up, you know, being, well, here they're Germans, they keep being sold to Germans. But you see what my point is, how do we make more Marc Simoncinis in Europe, you think? How do we have more of you?
If we continue to keep the same education system in France, we should have a lot of guys without any, how do you say diploma in English? Diplomas, because I don't have any diploma. So I had to find a way to create my own job. So in fact, the chance I had is I didn't have any diploma, so I had to create my company if I wanted a salary. So if we continue to have so poor system of education, we will probably make a lot of guys without any diplomas in France. And then that may be the chance, because everybody will have to create a company to survive. Or we have to change the system of education, which is probably more complicated.
Right. Marc, if you were not doing MEETIC, I'm sure the room will listen to, because like, yeah, that guy, he's so successful. You want to listen to, what would you be doing?
I don't answer this question, but I will promise you a surprise. Since 6 years, everybody asks me, why did you launch MEETIC? And I say, because I have friends who wanted to find love, etc., etc. That's bullshit. I had in mind to launch this business, but I didn't decide to launch it. And one day, a guy wrote this article on the paper. So somebody knows Rémi Vallet. It was 6 years ago. Maybe the guy is dead, but maybe he's still alive. And this guy made an article about myself, and he explained I sold my company for 200 million euros. And he said, this guy wants now to launch a new business. And he decided to invest 1 million euros to launch MEETIC. And I translate the last sentence. A startup which will be probably never valuated 200 million euros. So the meeting was not launched, and the journalist said, this guy will create a company which never be valuated 200 million euros.
So he was announcing your failure.
Yes, yeah. He was wrong. He was right. MEETIC was never valuated 200 million euros, but 400 million. But I said, I just launched a business, I sell it, I have a new idea, I launch the business, and the French guys say, you will never succeed, as usual. And I say, I will do it for him. So thanks, Remy Vallée. I don't know if you're still alive, but thank you.
Yeah, so you don't like the press too much, right?
Not
this
really.
is why you don't like to, you know, you have many journalists here around, but
I love journalists.
But this is hurting you, Marc. I mean, honestly, when you have someone telling you, like in the full page, this guy is going to fail anyway.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of energy just to show him. You know, this guy is maybe an auditor on KPMG for now. So I have to be careful about it.
So there is a famous quote of Marc that I have to, you know, give to the room because it's been all around the internet. Marc said a few years now ago, during the presidential campaign, he said, quote, if you stay in France, someone was asking Marc, are you right-wing or left-wing? I'm not getting into politics, I promise. I swear. But someone asked Marc, are you right-wing or left-wing? And what Marc answered, I quote, was, staying in France is being left-wing.
Because it was a mistake, I'm sorry about that, but I paid and I pay so many taxes in France for so poor help from the French government, and I fight against so many rules and so many laws.
Explain. Like,
so that's a kind of...
So how many tax... We have Christine Lagarde showing just tomorrow, you know, for a few minutes. You come and tell her. No. But Christine Lagarde, the Minister of Economy, is coming to award the startup. And how many tax controls have you got, like in your...
As usual, I had probably 10. And the French secret is sometimes I had 2 in the same time, which is a little bit embarrassing when you don't have enough time to... it's not a joke, but usually...
Tell me the story about the Christmas tree.
You have time, because it's in English, it's complicated. So we decided to make a Christmas tree. We had, let's say, 10 babies on the company, and we bought 10 gifts, probably 10 euros per gift, just to give the babies. 6 months later, I had a control, and the controller, tax control. And the controller asked us, why did you buy 10 gifts? And I said, because we have 10 babies. And the guy asked me, give me a copy of the ideas.
To prove that?
To prove you have 10 babies. And I tell the controller, okay, I will do that, but you have to write it on a letter. I will pay 1 million euros of advertising on all the French press, and I will copy your letter with your name, and then you will receive my answer. And I didn't have any control anymore.
So if you want to avoid, tax control in France, the best way is to tell them you advertise them. Well, you need €1 million in advertising, but...
So if you want to launch a business in France, be courageous. But if you succeed in France, you will probably succeed everywhere.
So I'll take questions. So please be ready. Oh yeah, we have many already. Just one Marc before we open. Why are you still here?
Because I'm French, unfortunately.
You know, the French can also move,
No, the MEETIC headquarters is in France. I have my house in France. I ski in France. I love France and wine, so I will stay there, even if I give 100% of my money to the French taxes.
And they control you every year.
I don't care.
Great. All right, first question. I hope you're having as much fun as I am.
Tu me traduis les questions, parce que je suis pas sûr de comprendre.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Francois. Thank you very much for this actually really funny talk. Thank you. My question is, regarding the talk that we had from Hélène Fischer that gave us a talk about love. Were you interested, and did you got any clue to put them in MEETIC so it would be more efficient? Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. I know Hélène Fischer because I saw her on TV show a few years ago, and I was very interested about what she said. We've launched this kind of website in Europe. It's called matchmaking. So you have to make a test, very complete. We match a lot of criteria, psychology criteria, and we ask psychologists to make a test for us. So the website is already launched in Europe since a few months. It's called MEETIC Affinity, so it's more affinity than MEETIC. And without saying any secret, in France, it's the second largest website in terms of revenue, just behind MEETIC. So we will.
Can I translate you?
Yes.
You know, your English is fine.
No.
Like I translate Marc. He's kicking the butts like big time, and you're bigger, right?
Yeah. So we decided to launch such kind of website, and I will be very interested to chat with Hélène Fischer, even if it's complicated to change the test. Because if I change the test, I'm not able to match anymore the guys who have made the previous tests. But I will do my best, and I will be very interesting to meet her.
Right, as long as you make much more money with your service than the one from Match.com. Pay attention to the fact that not only does he not sell to a US company, but he actually competes and beats them in the territory. Is there another question? Yes, here, please.
Yes, I'm Krista, I'm an entrepreneur, and I have a question for you. I just want to know from France, how did you organize your international development? That you said it's really difficult to have a company in France and be present.
It was probably the most complicated challenge. At the beginning, I decided to concentrate everything in France, to translate everything in France, to operate from France, and to put only one guy in each country just for the marketing and partnerships. And it works. It worked for 3 years. It worked. But at the end, if you want to improve your business, you have to act local. And then we moved a lot of things from Paris to countries. We started by the marketing, then the branding, then the customer care and the payment means. So now everything is localized very deeply, country per country. So we have less lever because, of course, it's more simple to have only one guy per country. But at the end, we are more efficient country per country. So it's a long process from the beginning to the end. But if you want to be local from scratch, just at the beginning, you can't be global in Europe. You have to start very light and then to act local later. But never start with a lot of subsidiary everywhere because it's a mess.
We'll get one last one and then break.
Hi, Daniela Beccari from isango.com. Marc,
which country?
I'm Italian. I live in Paris. I work in London. My wife is Japanese.
Good luck.
Okay, that's it. My question is, beyond differences, what can you see as similarities across Europe or areas of leverage, whether it's brand, technology, expertise, marketing, that you have noticed that you can replicate or leverage from country to country?
There is a lot of difference country per country, but there is one common point, which is if you want to have a chance to grow on all markets you want to enter, you have to have a brand in each country. Without a brand, you can't grow. So we spent 200 million euros on advertising since the launch of MEETIC to create a brand everywhere. So everything is different. All the parameters are completely different, market per market. But the only things you have to have everywhere is a brand. So you have to build, or you have to buy, or you have to create. But without brand, no chance. So we spend a lot of money to create our brands. I just to give you an example, in France, MEETIC achieved 92% of brand awareness on the French population. So we are unbeatable. it's not possible to compete against MEETIC, except if...
Careful, you'll be monopolistic if you keep going. Huh?
Yeah, that's a problem.
They'll break you.
I have a lot of things to teach about Google, so I'm late. So the brand is probably the most complicated, the most expensive, and the most key things you have to build to have a chance in Europe.
Marc, I would really like to thank you for your
you.
time here. I hope you come back, and yeah, it's the next 5 years. It's going to take me another 5 years. And maybe, yeah, I should give this back to you. And maybe also I should protect you, because you have French press waiting for you here with what you said. So thank you very much.